Good morning, happy Tuesday. How are you guys doing today? All right, so today in nail school, what I want to be able to do is go over some fundamental work, primarily consistency. I want to be able to show you guys what you need in order to achieve perfection around the cuticle area. This is really going to make all the difference when it comes to your application. For all of you guys out there that are learning, this is what you're going to do in order to get incredible results, especially around the perimeter of the nail. All right, so what we want to be able to do is, I just poured out some cover pink and want to be able to demonstrate how the bead and how you're going to be able to achieve perfection. So I'm working with my Signature Series brush, which is a number 12. I'm going to submerge and just tap. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to pull on both sides of the brush. I only want you to just tap one side so that you have a lot of monomer on this side. You're going to notice, I'm going to flatten this out, that in order for me to get perfection, what I need to do is slightly pull back, then bounce inside the powder, okay? So, a lot of beginners, again, will make the mistake of just pulling and just holding it here, right? And if you're holding it inside, you're going to notice that you get those dry edges around the end of the bead, okay? We don't want those dry edges. We want to be able to have something that is going to self-level. And what I mean by that is, if you take your acrylic brush and you pull back, then bounce, you're going to notice, if I wait here a few seconds and then I set it down to the surface, immediately you're going to get the product running out to the side. So what's happening is you're getting a nice self-leveling consistency. We do not want this so dry where you're going to be building ledges around the perimeter of the nail. So if you were to take, again, your powder, and let's say that you had inconsistencies in the amount of liquid in your brush, and what I mean by that is, if you were to take it off this side, and then take it off this side, and then take it off this side, and then again try to water ski across the surface, you're going to get something that's going to be really flat. And then again, you can see how it stuck to the brush as I came off, right? That's not good, right? You want it to be able to come off with ease. So if I submerge my brush, tap my brush, again, I'm loaded up on this side. If I pull down at an angle, take a look at this. If I pull down at an angle, then bounce inside the powder, I immediately, as you can see, I'm going to get something super fluffy on one side of my brush. And then what ends up happening, even if I wait, it's going to come off with ease, okay? So what we want to try to do is take that consistency right to here. Now, this, again, the way you set it down to the back end, let's just say that this was the size, let's just say that this was the natural nail right here. And let's just say you glued a tip on, okay? Or you sculpted a tip onto the nail. And what you were trying to do is overlay the whole entire surface, right? Don't make the mistake of keeping the finger flat and then again picking up a bead and then doing this, pushing out to the side like this, right? So if I end up having it too flat and I push it out to the side, what ends up happening is the product will end up running down the side walls or straight back into the cuticle area, which is going to create a disaster, right? So let me just go ahead and wipe this off, okay? What we want to be able to do is we want to be able to keep the finger at an angle, right? Just like this. And you're going to notice if it's pointed down, when I submerge my brush, okay? And again, let's just say I have an excess amount of liquid on my brush. Let's say I barely touch this, and this thing is like literally flooded with monomer, okay? You can see how swollen that is. If I was to pull back and then bounce, right, it's going to give me a really, really big bead. Now, here's the thing. If I wait 2, 3, 4, and then I release, you're going to notice even with all that monomer inside my brush, I'm still going to get a beautiful self-leveling consistency that is going to run this way, right? I mean, it didn't run past, I'd say, the stress area just because I counted, I waited. Even though I did not do this, I didn't take my brush and pull a majority of the monomer out. Again, if I submerge my brush, okay, and I barely touch it, having a lot of monomer is going to give me the ability to grab a lot of powder. Again, pulling back and then bouncing. And then once I have it, notice my count. 1, 2, 3, around 4, I release. I have a beautiful consistency where I'm going to be able to use the tip of my brush and lightly walk around the perimeter. As everything starts running down towards the front of the tip, if I want to secure the rest of the tip, all I'm doing is pulling from the front, right? And then what I could do is start to use the body of the brush to walk it from side to side so that I have a beautiful overlay from this point to this point. And again, notice the cuticle area. What I'm trying to accomplish is getting it nice and tight around the edges so that we don't have to file too much. Let's do this in a large view. If I submerge my brush, again, I get myself, I pull back, I bounce, bounce, bounce. I get myself a nice bead. 2, 3, at 4, I release. Look at this. All I have to do is slide that tip, barely touching the back, walking around the perimeter of the nail as the bead starts to move down this way. As it gets past the stress area, I can use the tip of the brush. I can start pulling from the front of the bead, right, just to kind of drag that excess down. Then what I could do is use the body of the brush and lightly walk it from side to side until I overlay the whole entire surface with perfection. I can continue to clean the brush and then use the tip of the brush just to kind of wipe it through, but you're going to notice that I'm going to have a beautiful overlay, right? It's going to have a nice natural shape, nice natural arch. Everything is going to be tight around the edges and the least amount of effort. Again, let's do this one more time, all right? I'm going to get myself a nice amount of liquid in my brush. All right, I'm going to flatten this out, okay? That way I don't have a divot. I'm going to pull back, bounce, bounce, bounce. 1, 2, 3, at a 4 count, release. Use the tip of my brush while the finger is pointed down, making sure that I secure those edges. I could lightly kind of touch the surface to get the product to move down, right? Then what I can do is I can pull from the front of the bead to kind of secure the acrylic over the whole entire tip. And then again, right, just with light motion, barely touching the surface, as I'm starting to pull the product through, I could then use the body of the brush to walk from side to side to secure the enhancement, again, from top to bottom, right? And then I'm using a very, very light motion as I'm pulling through, right? The goal is to try to get it as tight as we can around the perimeter of the nail as the product is moving in this direction, trying to create a nice arch from cuticle to free edge without having to add too much to the surface, okay?
What's up, guys? I'm the education coordinator for Young Nails Incorporated, and I really hope you guys are enjoying this nail tutorial with Greg Salo. Here's the thing, I don't think you guys know this yet, but there's actually Zoom classes for all this stuff. All about acrylic, all about gel, all about how to use the e-file correctly, just like they do in the salon. A lot of people don't know this. We have Zoom classes for all this stuff. So if you want to take it to the next level, here's what I want you to do, and do it now. 714-992-1400. That's the number to call, or email me, ray@youngnails.com. It's getting filled up, but I want you to call now, 714-992-1400, or email me, ray@youngnails.com. Now let's get back to that tutorial. This thing is awesome.
I hope that helps. Right? In your journey, when you guys are working with acrylic, the key to your success is going to be consistency. And understanding how to get the product to work for you, not against you, again, is going to determine whether you have success with acrylic. I don't believe in liquid to powder ratios. What I do believe in is how easy it is to pick up, what it looks like, and how it feels when you set it down. Because again, temperature affects everything. You have to understand what the product looks like before you set it down so you have the best results when you're working it from cuticle down to the end of your tip. All right? If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Always here to help. Appreciate you guys dearly. Have a wonderful day. Peace.
Subscribe the channel now. Subscribe the channel now. Subscribe to the channel now. Subscribe to the channel.